Good evening, Bolton High. Okay, so I guess that is the last time you will need to listen to me say that. It's been a long road, but you are here. You made it. This year was rough. You started out missing out on some things in the fall because of that pesky Tripoli virus, and now this global pandemic has canceled all of your regular celebrations. So tonight isn't normal, but it will be special because it is about you, the class of 2020. Now let's begin. Ladies and gentlemen, Senior Graciela Ross.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
And now please join Seniors Hezekiah Bell, Evelyn Buckner, Taylor Connolly, Claire Langton, Elise Schwartz, and Hazel Tanyali in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, moved our stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
So this is where it all began. Your elementary schools. When you were in second grade, Bolton High School looked a little bit different than it does today. You may not even recognize it. We've gone through some transformations. And lucky for all of us, this is what it looks like today.
Do you remember the first time you came into the building as a class? I do. We met in here. I sat right here on this top step and said that you would be a very special class to me. You would mark my 10th year as principal of Bolton High School, and my daughter Maggie would be graduating the same year. I told you I would feel a special connection with you, and that's held true. I even had the special honor of having 24% of you in my physics class. Remember freshman year? You were only 13 and 14 years old. Do you remember this room? Freshman English with Mrs. La Rochelle? And you know this room. Batman lives here. You walked these halls, used these lockers, and learned in these classrooms. And all the time, the teachers were watching you grow, knowing that you'd be ready for today, your graduation day. In the tradition of graduations, there's some people that want to congratulate you. I'd like to introduce Mr. Andrew Broneal, Chairman of the Bolton Board of Education.
Hello to the class of 2020. I'd like to first take this opportunity to offer you the most sincere thanks and congratulations on behalf of the Board of Education. Wow, what a way to mark one of life's major milestones. I never thought that I'd make it here on the big screen, and I bet you never thought that you'd be graduating in a car. Well, this is life, and welcome to it. Just when you think things are the most secure, life throws you a curveball that takes your plans and turns them to trash. What a better time than graduation to learn this lesson and learn to adjust. Be comfortable with the unknown. Hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Flexibility is one of the great qualities that you can possess. Adaptability is key to thriving in anything. Utilize what you have learned and the training you have received here in Bolton, and go out and become the new leaders that you are destined to be. Go out and be the new innovators, for this is what quality education is about, teaching you to respond. This corona world is a bad dream. You will come to realize occupies an insignificant blip, a speck of time in your life, and as things normalize, be poised to go out and live. Here's your typical graduation advice. Take a chance, do things that scare you, travel, laugh, hug, dance, hike the trail, question authority, do something that you want, even if your parents aren't that into it, and don't forget sunscreen. Life is a challenge, but a marvelous one that is worth every second. You don't get a chance to change the world, but you do choose how you respond. These are the moments that define your character, and we at the Board of Education are confident that the Bolton Public Schools have prepared you with the character and intelligence not only to survive, but to thrive. High school is over. 2020, woohoo!
Thank you, Mr. Broneal, and thank you to the Bolton Board of Education for everything you've done to support the class of 2020. And speaking of support, our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, your Superintendent of Schools, Mrs. Kristen Hecht.
Good evening, class of 2020, parents, families, faculty, staff, and the community of Bolton. Bolton High School, class of 2020, this is where it all began on Wednesday, August 31st, 2016. On behalf of the entire staff, we hope you enjoyed your journey here at Bolton High School. Class of 2020, we celebrate you tonight. While I know this is not the ending you wanted for your high school career, I am a firm believer in making lemonade out of lemons. So with that idea in mind, I hope you enjoy this walk down memory lane while I share some important takeaways you learned and I hope you will remember from your time at Bolton High School. Believe in yourself. Value the people in your life. Feel gratitude for what you have. Have empathy for others. Stand up for what you believe in. Use your imagination. Be resilient. Dream big. Be the best version of yourself and make a difference. Mahatma Gandhi famously said, "Strength does not come from winning. Your struggles develop your strengths. When you go through hardships and decide not to surrender, that is strength." I encourage you to always show up, step up, give your best, and make the most of every experience, and always find ways to pay it forward. I wish each and every one of you much success in your future. Congratulations, Fulton High School Class of 2020.
Thank you, Mrs. Hector, and thank you for everything you did to make tonight possible. I'd also like to thank our project graduation parents and everything that they have done for the class of 2020. And they put something together for you to watch now. Another group I'd like to acknowledge tonight is our Bolton Scholarship Foundation. This group of parents and citizens have been steadfast in their resolve to provide financial support to graduates and alums of Bolton High School. Joining us now to share some information about this year's recipients is Mrs. Trish Brudds.
Hello, class of 2020. I am so happy to be here to celebrate with you, your family, and friends. So I was trying to think what I wanted to say to you, and I kept reflecting on what my takeaway was from everything that's happened in the last 3 to 4 months. And I think it's important to think about that. You know, what's my takeaway from this? And the answer to that can make a big difference in your life. So, I hope you'll think about what your takeaway is. For example, your senior year has not gone how you planned. That's for sure. So what's going to come out of that experience for you? Will you choose to be maybe a little more understanding? So if someone were to share disappointment of some sort with you, whether it's something big or small, so how will you approach that? Will you minimize it, or will you be compassionate? Will you help them try to make the best of things? Will you be creative, like maybe holding a teacher parade to hand out caps and gowns, or a drive-in graduation? So it's important to reflect on what your experiences mean to you, how they shape you, and how they transform you. So I hope your takeaway is to share a little more kindness, show more compassion, and have empathy. Choose humility, creativity, and absolutely choose to find humor wherever you can. So I wish you all the very best, and I hope you find wonderful adventures in your endeavors coming forward. Good luck, class of 2020. And now onto scholarship information. So the scholarships I'm going to announce tonight are for the graduating seniors. And all award letters were mailed this morning, so you should have them in a day or two. And they were mailed to the seniors and also students who are already in college, which reminds me, seniors, remember to check back on our website in January, because you can continue to apply for scholarships throughout your entire college career. A couple of quick logistical points. When you receive your award letters, you'll find your award letters. There'll also be a write-up about the scholarship if there is one. And then also the treasurer forms. So we need those to pay out your scholarships. So they're critical. You only have 1 week, though, to send everything in. So it'll be your treasure form and your thank you notes. So tomorrow, maybe find a nice thank you note, take a couple minutes and, take care of that right away. So please make sure to read each piece of paper carefully, because there's some different instructions on each one, and do not mail anything to Bolton High School. So we have limited access to our mailbox. And I want to say a quick thank you to Mr. Clark, who has been passing me the Bolton Scholarship Fund mail these last couple of months. He's been so wonderful about that. Now, I want to take a minute to say thank you to our donors, the residents of Bolton, Columbia, and Hartford, the Bolton High School alumni, our local businesses, and our local organizations. I am thrilled to say that our local community came together once again to support our kids. We were able to award $85,650 this year. Just unbelievable for a town this size. And since the Bolton Scholarship Fund started, we've awarded over $1.9 million. We are so close to that next big milestone there. So I'm just so very thankful and astounded by this community and their generosity. So, and I also want to say a quick thank you to the Bolton Scholarship Fund Board of Directors who volunteered their time to make this happen. It's a group effort and they're very much appreciated. So now, on to the exciting part. As we do every year, I want to start our award presentation by asking Mr. Bob Wade of the Leonard Scholarship Foundation to present the Henry and Eleanora Leonard Scholarships.
Good evening. My name is Bob Wade. I'm the lead trustee for the Leonard Scholarship Foundation. We are pleased to announce the recipients of the scholarships for this year. Our first recipient with a $2,500 scholarship is Hezekiah Bell. Our second recipient is Victoria White, also receiving a $2,500 scholarship. And then finally, Aiden Walters will be receiving a $5,000 scholarship. We congratulate all of you and congratulate the class of 2020.
Thank you, Bob. To continue our awards, the Wendy Scott Scholarship is awarded to Victoria White. The Hills Family Scholarship in memory of Lois, Karen, and Kevin Hills goes to Aiden Islam O'Brien. The Joe Alpert Memorial Scholarship and the George and Margaret Managia and Joyce Bacall Memorial Scholarship goes to Aiden Gamache. The Bruce Ralston Memorial Scholarship is awarded to Alyssa Medaya. A Simonize USA Inc. Science Scholarship and the Susan Christiana Scholarship go to Allison Bradley. The Bolton Historical Society Evelyn Halloran and Marguerite Flynn Memorial Scholarship and the Robert William Minor Memorial Scholarship go to Benjamin Jacobson. The Gretchen Weedy Scholarship and the Marion Nicolay Art Scholarship go to Caitlin Tobias. The Bolton Booster Club Scholarship in memory of Bruce Ralston and the Elfrida L. Hoffman Memorial Scholarship go to Claire Langton. A Hine Family Memorial Scholarship is awarded this year to Devin Fromer. The Helen Winkler, Elaine Otter, and Lori Rogers Honorary Women's Scholarship and the Lori Adler Business Scholarship go to Elise Schwartz. A Casimir and Maureen Bednarchik Memorial Scholarship is awarded to Eva Romke. A David C. and Olive H. Toomey Memorial Scholarship and the Managia Family Scholarship goes to Evelyn Buckner. A Lauren Otter Memorial Scholarship goes to Gabe Albert. The Dr. Paul Paracchio and Dr. Daniel Saunders Oral Surgery and the John J. Morianos Memorial Scholarship goes to Graciela Ross. A Richard Lebensky Senior Memorial Scholarship and the new Bolton 300th Anniversary Scholarship are awarded to Hallie Gavin. The Richard P. Mora Memorial Scholarship and a Simonize USA Inc. Business Scholarship are awarded to Haley Granado. A Bolton Music Works Scholarship and the Rose Family Scholarship in memory of Sally A. and Alan Rose goes to Hazel Tanyali. The new Helen Smith Memorial Scholarship and the William F. Riley Jr. Accounting Scholarship goes to Isaac Goncalves. A Bosworth Family Scholarship and the Edith Toomey Clark Memorial Scholarship go to Janali Feliciano. A Bolton Music Works Scholarship and the new Bradley Scholarship in memory of Leilani DeMuth are awarded to Juliana Larson. The Agnes and Raymond Allen Memorial Scholarship and the Helen M. Churchill Memorial Scholarship go to Justin Yannicka. The Bolton High School Class of 2020 Project Graduation Scholarship is awarded to Catherine Conchado. The new Karen Cordero Scholarship and the new Mr. and Mrs. Robert D. Murdoch Scholarship are awarded to Marta Harasimowicz. The John P. Crisp Memorial Scholarship goes to Matthew Weir. The Bolton Lions Club Elmer Wilson Memorial Scholarship and the Teller Family U.S. History Government Scholarship are awarded to Matthew Zakowski. The Bolton Volunteer Fire Department Scholarship in memory of Chief Michael Hickey and a Lauren Otter Memorial Scholarship go to Melissa Leggett. The Antonio and Elizabeth Fiano Family Scholarship and a Casimir and Maureen Bednarchik Memorial Scholarship are awarded to Mila Alicia. The Munson Family Scholarship and a Simonize USA Inc. Business Scholarship go to Noelle Flores. The Myers Family Scholarship and the MMNT Foundation Accounting Scholarship go to Robert Flowers. The Bolton PTA Scholarship and the Gamache Family Community Stewardship Scholarship are awarded to Samantha Bailey. The Bolton Road Race Scholarship and the Joseph Carvalho Scholarship go to Sean Boisvert. The CEA Bolton Education Association Scholarship and the Hazel McLaughlin Memorial Scholarship go to Shane Heller. The Bolton Seniors Organization Scholarship and a Simonize USA Inc. Science Scholarship are awarded to Taylor Connolly. And finally, the Bolton Booster Club Scholarship and the Bolton Mobile Scholarship are awarded to Vincent Loria. We do have a new scholarship I just want to mention, which is the Megan Osborne Godey Memorial Scholarship It's being awarded this year to a student who is already in college. And you can see a complete listing of our scholarships as well as our donors on our website. So I've been asked to announce a couple of additional scholarships. The Columbia PTO is pleased to announce that this year's recipient of the Columbia PTO Scholarship is Victoria White, and also the 2020 Wire Association International New England Chapter Scholarship is awarded to Hazel Tunyali. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening, and this year I get to have the BSF Board of Directors join me in saying to the class of 2020,
Congratulations!
We also had some great student leadership this year. It's my pleasure to introduce to you your class officers, Hazel, Allie, Sam, and Elise.
Dear Mrs. Midford and Mr. Turgeon, thank you for everything that you've done the past 4 years. Whether it was picking up fundraiser orders or planning prom that unfortunately did not happen this year, you guys were always on top of it, so thank you for being 100% committed to us.
We want to say thank you on behalf of the entire class of 2020 for everything you have sacrificed for us over the past 4 years. You always helped us stay on track of dues, fundraisers, and always came up with creative ways to help benefit the class. You always helped us execute everything, and were always willing to put in extra time to pick up supplies and help run fundraisers. You are both selfless and hardworking, and it has been a pleasure to work with the both of you. We will all miss you so much and are grateful we've had your support over the years. You've helped shape us into young adults, and we couldn't be more thankful that you are our advisors.
Both of you have spent countless hours preparing and organizing fundraisers and events, whether it was during your free periods or after school hours. Whenever we've had something planned, you were always on top of it to make sure everything ran smoothly. You sacrificed many nights, from painting our banner to supervising a class fundraiser. The past 4 years would not have been the same without you guys.
Since the beginning of freshman year, you two have supported our class. From working to find a way to hang our banner that we painted the wrong direction on the sheet, to constant questions about class dues. We know that you are both busy with teaching and other responsibilities, yet you always made us feel like a priority. We all appreciate your countless hours spent with us and your work outside of school to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Your support went above and beyond your responsibilities, and we are grateful for every moment. The class of 2020 would not be the same without you, and we will all miss you both.
Everything that you did not go unnoticed, so before we leave, we wanted to say our final thank you and goodbye and show you how much you really meant to us.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you from the class of 2020.
Thanks, guys. Great job. Now I'd like to take some time to share with you this year's Senior Awards recipients. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you to the Bolton High School faculty for organizing this year's awards. Annually, each department also chooses a student to award their Excellence Award for each of those department areas. This year's recipients are
the Joyce Teed and Tricia La Rochelle Award for Excellence in English, Johnny Feliciano. The Laurie Adler Award for Excellence in Business, Elise Swartz. The Bolton High School Excellence in Art Award, Elizabeth Hutter. The Bolton High School Excellence in Mathematics Award, Robert Flowers. The High School Excellence in World Language Award, Allison Bradley. The Wendy Scott Excellence in Family and Consumer Science Award, Alyssa Madaya. The Falsetto Global Citizenship Award, Victoria White. The Joseph D. Carvalho Excellence in Engineering Award, Allison Bradley. The O'Neill Civics Award, Hazel Tagnali. And in keeping with the tradition of naming Excellence Award in honor of retiring teachers, the Karen Cordero Excellence in Science Award, Hallie Gavin. Finally, each year, all members of the Bolton High School faculty are invited to vote for 3 very special faculty awards. These are the only awards that are decided upon by the faculty at large. The Bolton High School Excellence in Habits of Work Award, Benjamin Jacobson. The Exemplary Service Faculty Award, Melissa Leggett. And for achieving distinction in all areas over 4 years, the Distinguished Student Faculty Award, Hazel Tagnali. Congratulations to all 3 of you on these very, very special awards.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege to introduce to you our first co-salutatorian for this year, Robert Flowers.
Good evening. In the past few months, our school, our town, our state, our country, and the whole world have been tragically impacted by the spread of the coronavirus. We no longer get to casually go into a store without having to wear a mask. We no longer get to do so many things we once enjoyed doing with our friends and family, whether it is seeing baseball games or going to the movies. And worst of all, we no longer get to see many of the people we used to have the pleasure of seeing almost every day, like our teachers and friends. In these times, it is important that we practice gratitude to thank those we no longer see every day. In a time when a lot of us feel lonely and distant, we students are lucky to have had so many teachers and administrators doing what they have done for us our whole high school careers. They have eased us through stressful transitions. I remember when we first started high school, I started to worry about our first midterms a good 4 months before we had them. After swamping Mr. Mashurki with a million questions one day at cross-country practice, he finally told me to stop worrying so much, as midterms were so far away, and he knew that he would be providing us with so many study opportunities. If it were not for teachers like Mr. Mashurki helping to relieve stress, high school would have not been as fun. And now, during this tough time, teachers have provided us with constant connection and education through the internet, making post after post and hopping on calls whenever we were having problems with work. The administrators have also been working to ensure this connection is happening, while trying to honor our class as much as possible, like with this wonderful night. We are all grateful for everything you have done for us, and we cannot thank you enough for making these last 4 years as stress-free as possible. While on the topic of gratitude, I also want to thank my friends and family for everything they have done for me. My friends who have become family have stuck with me despite all of my flaws, and they, along with all my teachers, are the main reason I looked forward to going to school every day. My brother and my sister have loved me while putting up with my endless antics, and finally, if it were not for the constant love, support, and guidance from my parents, I would not be the confident young man I am today. Through any problem or success I have had, they've been right by my side. Everything I do is for them because they are the 2 best friends I will ever have. In these times, it is also important that we maintain perspective. Throughout history, there have been countless crises, such as wars and other pandemics, that brought real losses and difficult challenges. But in each case, the world recovered, and hard as it is to believe, came back stronger. In living through this difficult period, I have begun to understand that there are so many small things that impact our lives in a positive way. things that we take for granted. Through dealing with this separation, it has become evident in my eyes that we should always be trying to add small bits of happiness to our life where we can, while allowing that happiness to reduce any stress that is plaguing our lives. Tonight, I want to tell you a story relating to this idea. In a way, it supports the message, but I'm hoping that in making fun of me, it can at least add one of these small bits of happiness to your life. Very few people have ever heard this story. The story begins one night with a young 3-year-old Bobby sleeping on the top bunk of a bunk bed. To my right, there was a window. One night, I looked over at the window and saw a bird pecking at it. From that night on, I was convinced that every bird was out to get me and wanted to peck my brains out. What my parents did next saved my life. Without their help, I most likely would have been murdered by a flock of birds in the middle of the night, and I would not be giving this speech today. My mom decided to sew me a hat, but this was not just any hat. It was what my mom and dad called a night-night hat. Night-night hats, when worn at night, have magical properties that protect you from birds trying to peck at your head. I began to wear this hat religiously. I could not sleep without putting on my night-night hat. My mom even began to sew me more night-night hats. I wore these hats for at least 3 years, I'd say, until I was around 6. I say this because I want to make sure no one thinks an 18-year-old boy is sleeping in a night-night hat every night. Still, I wore them so long. I wore them so long that I eventually forgot why I wore them in the first place. If it were not for my parents reminding me of this embarrassing story, I honestly would have not remembered that I had a fear of birds. My fear of birds is obviously not a large, life-changing event, but it was clearly a stressful event for a 3-year-old. In these times, it is also important to note that opportunity and growth are born out of times of crisis. My parents taught me a valuable lesson through their solution to my problem. It is important to try to find creative solutions in stressful times, which can then turn into fond and happy memories. They made me feel invincible to those birds at the time, and I now have an embarrassing story that I can share with people. When we are older and looking back on 2020, though we will remember COVID-19, we are going to remember all of the wonderful memories we shared with each other throughout high school. Now, obviously, I'm not even going to try to compare the seriousness and tragedy of the coronavirus to my silly fear of birds. But I do believe that trying to find happiness anywhere is important to maintaining an optimistic attitude towards life, whether it is in telling a joke to lighten the mood, playing a game with family, or by putting on a night-night hat. We, the class of 2020, have remained optimistic through everything that has been thrown at us. We were the first class to have to demonstrate the school's transferable skills to graduate. We have been assigned countless research projects from all of our wonderful teachers, and I thank them profusely for each one. We have missed out on so many experiences that come with being a senior due to the coronavirus, including dances, spring sports, senior trips, and a graduation where we can celebrate with hugs and handshakes. All of this while living in a constant fear created by growing tensions in the world. But we met those requirements. We completed those projects, and we are all here today, optimistic about the future. We have been able to overcome these challenges because we have always had each other. The small bits of happiness that have come from seeing our friends and our teachers every day, even though recently we've seen most of them over the internet, kept us going. And despite the challenges, we got through them together. The 5 minutes at our lockers every morning, or any lunchroom debate that's ever gone down, they took away from the stress of the world for a while. Having people to fall back on when things are not looking up is key to optimism. Real friends and family are the ones who give you happiness whenever you need it. We have all been there for each other for so long, and Bolton High will always be our home. But if I've learned anything, it's that when we all go out into the real world, we should make sure to find people along the way that make us feel just as happy as the people here do. Thank you to all the administrators, teachers, parents, and students that have made this video possible, as well as for the last 4 years. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you, Bobby. And now, your second salutatorian, ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Zakowski.
Hello there, fellow graduates, faculty, and family members. Clearly, I'm not speaking to you in the way in which we all wanted, with us gathered and sitting side by side. However, even though we are not able to be together physically, we can still stand together as a community now and reflect. While it may have been a long time ago, I implore you to look back on our time spent together and all that we've been through. And while your first instinct may be to think of all the fun times we've had and everything that we've done together that has been enjoyable, we must also look back at the failures and bad times that we had as well. We have all engaged in countless hours of homework and studying for a test or a class, whether it be calculus, physics, peace studies, biology, or some other class, only for it all to feel in vain. We have gone to a test and had no idea what we were doing. We have also gone to a Socratic seminar and still had no idea what we were doing, and we fumbled upon our words. Our presentations have been either too short or 2 times longer than necessary. We have failed at exams, at projects, and at tests of knowledge and of character. We have even failed relationships along the way. But despite all these failures and struggles, there were moments of pure joy. We have grown so much from when we first started, and we have learned so much as well. We can now take solace in the fact that after all those years, the 2nd grade spelling test did not permanently destroy our GPA, that the 5 minutes we lost from recess that one time did not stain our record for eternity, and that chemistry did not end our high school career. And we've had so much other fun things that have happened across the years, including but not limited to dances, field trips, pep rallies, lock-ins, teacher versus student dodgeball, and even the one-in-a-lifetime opportunity to duct tape our teacher, Mr. Antunes, to a wall. This list could go on and on and on. However, I wish to save you the time and not bore you for 16 minutes. And we have done all that we needed to pass. We have put in the work, and we have finally achieved the goal that we have been striving towards for 12 years, graduating high school. While this graduation may be unorthodox, it will certainly be one to remember, and it will be a milestone in our life as we move on to the real world. And after this, we will all go our separate ways. Some will go to college, others will start their career, some will join the military, and others something different entirely. But today, as a class, we are able to stand together and celebrate the hard work we have done and our collective successes over the years. However, it would be unfair to say that our hard work was the only thing that was able to push us through to the end, even though that was clearly a factor. Our administration and teachers around us were able to help and guide us through our journey of school, and they deserve all the recognition for the help they gave us. In addition to this, we need to thank our parents and guardians because they were there when we needed them, and they helped us with stuff when we needed help. For example, when we needed help with math homework, and then they argued with us for 20 minutes about how Common Core mathematics is wrong and their old way is better. But despite the frustration that these people may have caused, it is impossible to say with certainty that we would be standing here without their help or without their guidance. So we must thank all of them and give them recognition where it is due. Now, as we move on into the real world and we leave Bolton behind, I would like to leave you with a quote from an old hermit that lives in a galaxy far, far away. Master Yoda once said that the greatest teacher failure is. So, as you go into your future endeavors, let failure be a vessel for improvement and betterment, not something to obsess over. As painful as failure is, the lessons and values learned from it are just as valuable as those learned from success. It has not stopped you from graduating high school as you are here today, and it should not stop you in the future. With that, I congratulate the class of 2020 on their amazing success, and I wish them much more in the future.
In our speech class each year, a student is chosen by their peers and the faculty to address the graduates at commencement. Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker this year, Samantha Bailey.
Thank you, family, friends, parents, and staff, for being here to celebrate with us tonight. And to my classmates, after 13 years of preparing for this moment together, we have finally made it. We have spent over a decade together, and it has come to an end that was sadly unavoidable. As the character Andy from The Office said, I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you actually left them. We have grown together in many ways. We started our first years together in elementary school, playing town league sports, always on teams named Orange Crush, Green Dragons, or something typical like that. We then went on to learn how to play the recorder, and we all knew we would never have as many belts as Allie did. In middle school, we would stay after the day before our best friends' birthdays to help decorate their lockers. The next day, we would go in early to sign it for them. We then went to high school together, and here we welcomed many new students from Columbia into our grade. Since the first day of freshman year, we have grown to be one big family. We may not have all liked each other at first, but we have grown to appreciate one another as all families do. We have a connection together we will never forget. We have always been welcoming to anyone in our grade to make sure they feel included in the family environment we have. We have gone through so much together, both good and bad, and we have always stuck by each other's sides. Over the past 13 years, or even just 4, we have learned so much about one another, which has helped us become better people within ourselves. Knowing a lot about each other in such a close environment can be both a good and bad thing at certain times. We have learned from the mistakes those around us have made and have come together when someone has needed our support. We have seen each other grow into the type of people we will be for the rest of our lives. Without being in this family for all these years, we would not be who we are today. We know how to help those around us and support each other in a way that will stay with us wherever we are going next. Thank you to each person graduating with me today. You may not think this, but I have honestly learned something from each of you, and the impact you all have had on me will stay with me forever. Bolton is the place I can say I became friends with Melissa in first grade while helping her hide in the bathroom during lunch. It's a school where we all know about the bump on the French field trip in 7th grade. In our school, we know that when we mess up, people will forget about it. Except for how we all remember Bobby, Vincent, and Shane in the first grade variety show. In our school, Claire taught us that no matter how sick you might be, missing the Spain trip is never worth it, even if you have to fly in a few days late. We will all always be thankful that Matt Sikowski was in our grade because his parents brought us Shady Glen ice cream on the last day of school before we had to stop our food celebrations. It's a school where we learned in middle school that Jaden could in fact jump high enough to touch the exit sign at the bottom of the ramp, and he knocked it down. A school where Elise and Evelyn taught us that glue doesn't help to fix your problems, and it especially isn't fun to get stuck in your hair. In this school, we watched Victoria go from hiding under the table during a freshman year drama rehearsal to being the lead in our amazing senior year production. We all know when Hallie sneezes because you can hear it on the other end of the building. And if you happen to be right next to her at the time, I'm so sorry, you're probably never going to hear again. Freshman year, Dylan proved that one haircut really can completely change your life. We all know that when Noelle starts laughing, it is nearly impossible for the rest of the class not to join in. This year, Eva and Xavier taught us that if you're going to be late, you might as well be late with coffee. As long as you brought one for Mrs. Tierney as well. In this school, we all remember when Gabe threw his phone and broke a computer monitor in Miss Teitelbaum's room this year. There were always loud noises coming from the commons in our school, whether it was Mrs. D teaching me how to play piccolo or Jordan learning how to whistle during lunch. This year, Kellen, Graham, and Ben proved that once the warning bell rings, if you run from the end of the senior hallway to math class, you will make it on time. And they did this every single day. Aiden Gamache taught us that no matter how smart you might be, it is never smart to play with scissors. It's a school where your principal can be your server at prom one year and will be teaching your class the next year. Lucky for me, I did not have to sit through Mr. Maselli's physics class every morning. These are just a glimpse at the years we spent together, and there are so many more memories to remember and look back to after we leave Bolton. I am so proud to say I graduated with the Bolton High School class of 2020, and I will miss seeing each of you in class, the hallways, or even over Google Meets next year. Congratulations! I am proud that we have made it here together. And as Mr. Maselli always says, I'll see you Monday. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce our second class speaker, Haley Granado.
Good evening, everyone. Family members, teachers, administrators, friends, everyone that is here tonight. Would you all join me in congratulating the incredible, determined, stubborn, and hardworking Bolton High School class of 2020.
We started this journey 4 years ago in 2016. We could still wear backpacks, Rihanna was still making music, the Cavaliers came back from a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals, and a game show host was elected president. It's clear that times were very different 4 years ago. Parents, you are probably wondering where the time has gone. It may have seemed like just yesterday your little girl or boy was crying and begging you not to leave them on the first day of kindergarten. But for us seniors, it has felt like an eternity. In the beginning of 2020, we were convinced that this was going to be the best of the 4 years we spent at BHS. I remember walking through the halls and growling at the freshmen just to scare them, even though it probably did nothing and everyone stopped after like a week. Elise and I continued to do it throughout the entire year. You see, some of the best moments in the 4 years of high school are the ones that are so unexpected and seem so random. I know everyone remembers when we taped Mr. Antunes to the wall. And the lock-in we had at the school, the seniors insisted on going against everyone else in dodgeball, even though we lost every other round. Even when we didn't always make the best decisions, like the time me and a couple friends climbed up the tunnel in Vernon at 2 a.m., or the time we got lost in the woods looking for a rope swing to jump into a lake. I'm kidding, Mom, that totally didn't happen. When preparing for these speeches, we watched a lot of commencement speakers. While watching Conan's speech to Dartmouth class of 2011, one thing he said really stood out to me. It is our failure to become our perceived ideal that ultimately defines us and makes us unique. It's not easy, but if you accept your misfortune and handle it right, your perceived failure can become a catalyst for profound reinvention. I want you all to know that you do not have to be afraid to fail. Everyone does. Whether it's a bad grade in AP Stats, which I'm sure Miss Warner can back me up on, losing the big game you were practicing so hard for, which I'm sure Mrs. Midford can back me up on, or not getting the role that you auditioned for in a production. Use the lessons that you learned along the way to help you get it right for the next time. Overall, I thought my senior year was going to be a lot different than it actually was. It was going to have prom dress shopping, a senior outing with my classmates, spring sports games, another month or two of classes with my favorite teachers, and the same graduation that every other class has gotten. The class of 2020 has been a class that was forced to mature at the speed of light. As seniors in high school, we should have been worrying about what we were going to wear to prom, what grade we needed on the final to pass a class, and how to finish our capstone in one night. Instead, we became the first class to experience a virtual graduation and say our goodbyes over the phone. While many people think Generation Z is full of kids who spend too much time on their phone and, as Mr. Smith would say, marshmallows. But in reality, we are part of the strongest and most educated generation. We grew up in a world that is visually, socially, and technologically advanced. We are independent and confident. We are hardworking and determined, and I am proud to be part of such an amazing group of people. I know some of you think we might not have made as many memories as other people, but I am sure that I have at least one good memory with every single one of you. Devin, you remember how you always used to call me Hiccup Lady because I hiccuped all the time? I know I got annoyed, but I always laughed about it later. Jaden, remember when you knocked down the exit sign and threw it in the snow? I was laughing for at least 3 days after that. Oh, and Mrs. Snowheimer, remember when you were teaching my all-time favorite class in high school, economics, and then had a baby and were gone for the rest of the semester? Yeah, that was funny too. But if I learned anything about life in high school, it is definitely that things don't always work out the way you expect. The biggest thing that I learned about life in general is that you need to take advantage of what the world gives you. And I have my father to thank for teaching me this. In my freshman year, my father was diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's disease. I know most of you don't know exactly what Parkinson's is. It's a progressive disorder that affects nerve cells in the brain that are responsible for body movement. My father's diagnosis scared me, and I can only imagine what he was feeling. But over the years, my father has been nothing but brave and supportive of me and my family. When times got hard, my father was always there to put a smile on my face, most often with some corny joke. For my entire life, my dad has been like my permanent coach. It began with t-ball and Little League soccer, then basketball here and there, then travel teams, and finally volleyball. And let me just say, the whole thing about how coaches go harder on their own kids, it's 100% true. I would not be who I am if it weren't for my family and friends, and I thank you guys for that. And to my mother and father specifically, you inspire me every day of my life to keep going and to never give up. I promise to be there for you guys for as long as you have been there for me. Everyone in the audience, this next part is just for my class of 2020 classmates. Some of you I've known since I was 5 years old, and some of you I've known since I was 16 years old. But each and every one of you means something to me. We've all been through our fair share of drama through the years, but one thing I noticed was that around senior year, it stopped. We came together as a class, a pretty superior class, if you ask me, and we embraced our senior year. We joked around in class, we raced down the halls, we tricked our teachers into giving us less work, and we did it all together. And to everyone else, you'd be surprised to find out how quickly we all work together when no homework is on the line. The last thing I would like to talk about today is my gratitude towards Bolton High School and all of its staff members. For the last 4 years, you educated us, you advocated for us, and you were there for us. You all made sure to go out of your way just to make us happy, and we are beyond grateful for that. I know it seems like we aren't always your biggest fans, usually when you assign us essays in the last week of school, Mr. Smith. But even through the long assignments, we know that it takes you guys 10 times as long to grade all of it. Going through our last months of high school during the pandemic has been a difficult time for everyone, but I wouldn't wish for any other group of staff to experience it with us than you guys. You gave up many hours of the day, planning out how to make online learning better. You even gave up an entire day just to drive around for hours on end delivering our caps and gowns. And as someone who pays for their own gas, I feel for you. Thank you, Ms. Mencken, for allowing me and Elise to crash your class multiple times a day. Thank you, Mrs. Midford, for letting us sneak into your room so we could go over our volleyball game plans or just play hangman. Thank you, Ms. Warner, for doing your absolute best to teach me AP statistics, even though I'm sure I will never understand. Thank you, Mrs. Johnson, for letting me cry in your office whenever I needed a break. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for always believing in your students and their work. Thank you, Mrs. Noheimer, for inspiring us girls to become empowered women. Thank you, Mrs. Cordero, for being the best and most dedicated student council advisor. Thank you to our 2 class advisors, Mrs. Midford and Mr. Turgeon, for ensuring we had the best possible senior year. And thank you, Mr. Maselli, for giving up so many hours to be there for you students for so many years. To all of the staff at BHS, thank you for making such an impact on this class and this school, and we will never forget you. To my amazing and talented peers, we made it. Never give up. Follow your dreams. Do what makes you happy. Fill your life with oh wells instead of what ifs, and regret nothing. Congratulations, Bolton High School Class of 2020. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bolton High School's Class of 2020 valedictorian, Hallie Gavin.
2020. The start of a new decade and the end of our high school careers. After 13 years of education and over 16,000 hours spent in school, the conclusion to our senior year was anticlimactic at best and depressing at worst. We expected our high school graduation to be filled with ecstatic, smiling teenagers and proud parents, everyone coming together to celebrate the accomplishments of the graduating class, and more importantly, watch us walk across the stage to receive the diplomas we had worked so hard for. Instead, what we got was social distancing and self-isolation, Google Meets about what our graduation would look like, and surveys on whether or not we would like to wait for normality to come. In the end, it didn't. But perspective, especially during times of hardship, is important. When presented with the challenge of clearing a hurdle, there are a couple ways to view the issue. From the eyes of an Olympic hurdler, clearing a 3-foot-high obstruction takes minimal effort and is probably not considered a challenge. But to, say, a 4-foot and 11-inch tall high school girl who isn't that fond of exercise, a 36-inch jump suddenly becomes a very daunting task. Similarly, to a healthy, able-bodied teenager, the coronavirus pandemic isn't a huge hurdle. Sure, clearing it can be laborious, as we may have to suffer through 2 weeks of flu-like symptoms, but ultimately it's doable. We'll get past it and end up more or less unscathed. However, to more than 340,000 people, COVID-19 was more than a hurdle. It was an insurmountable wall. We lost prom, senior outing, and a traditional graduation ceremony, But those losses seem petty and trivial compared to someone who lost a loved one or is having their own life threatened by an incurable disease. As teenagers, we often forget to think about the difficulties others face. And unlike previous generations, there's no war to mature us. In many ways, though, COVID-19 has impacted us just like a war would. It has brutally shoved us out of our comfort zones and taught us what it means to struggle. It has also introduced us to an atmosphere filled with uncertainty. Answers to many of our questions don't exist yet, and nobody definitively knows what to do or how to react. Humanity as a whole has never been more uncertain. So let's stop obsessing over what we don't know and take a moment to reflect upon what we've learned. We have discovered the importance of technology and how it can enable us to be closer than ever before. We have experienced firsthand how much humans crave social interaction and how much of a difference a screen between us makes. We now understand how convenient it is to be healthy and how good health is our most valuable possession. We know that our class is the epitome of determination. We were born in the wake of 9/11, are graduating during a pandemic, and have undergone numerous hardships within our lifetimes. But the arduous situations we've encountered have taught us numerous lessons, each one contributing to who we are today and who we will be in the future. Within 4 short years, we have all come a long way from the immature freshmen we once were. We grew at a tremendous rate, and through our unified turmoil, we learned the empathy needed to combat egocentricity, something that has undoubtedly made us wiser. The world has shaped us into who we are today, but soon it will be our turn to shape the world. Tonight is our first step. Graduation marks the moment we assume control of our lives. Whether we enter the workforce, enlist in the military, take a gap year, go to college, or do something else, for the first time ever, what we do next is completely up to us. So with that in mind, I would like to share a quote from a genius named Rick Sanchez. "To live is to risk it all. Otherwise, you're just an inert chunk of randomly assembled molecules drifting wherever the universe blows you." What he means by this is that you need to take risks, because if you don't, then you're simply existing. You're not truly living. So I implore you to transcend mediocrity and make an impact on the world. More often than not, that involves accepting the prospect of failure and making risky decisions, because that's the only way to stop merely surviving and start thriving. Life is one giant game of probability, so don't just play to not lose. Play to win. With that piece of advice, I thank you for watching my speech, and I offer my complete and unequivocal congratulations to the Bolton High School class of 2020. We've earned it. Now I would like to introduce the next speaker in this video, the Bolton Public Schools Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Argenta.
Bolton High School graduates the class of 2020. Well done. You made it. As the current Teacher of the Year, I am honored to share my words and my artwork with you tonight. You see, graduation is a time to celebrate the hard work of seniors and to promote youth to walk into the shoes of adults. I must admit that finding the right words to fit this moment in time were challenging. You see, this year is not like the others, and tonight may feel respectively bittersweet. Much of what you were looking forward to sounds, looks, and feels very different than you had expected. Quite different. When I was trying to find the words to share with you, it happened by serendipity. You see, I was casually reading an article in Reader's Digest entitled "The Truth About Wildfires." And the title, it's what grabbed me instantly. for it seemed an appropriate analogy. Wildfires are extremely fast-moving, so they are hard to extinguish. This moment may feel different than before, but your feelings are yours, and right now, a sincere heart is strong. When people are strong at heart, they can do the hard work of healing. Wildfires move uphill faster than downhill. This moment may look different than before, but know that there's so much beauty in being unique. I've never heard anyone say that they wish to be ordinary. Tonight will be memorable and will move you forward, not back. Wildfires happen often, and humans cause the majority of them. This moment may sound different than before, but you are ready to have and hear meaningful conversations with all people to form better outcomes. If wildfires get large enough, they can affect the local weather. This moment may change you, for you are ready to make steps to making a better future for yourselves and others. Do not despair. You have the resilience to change and affect your community. Look around. Just communicating as a class made this happen tonight. So many students in other towns will not have the opportunity to be together in person. You all came together to make tonight a community gathering. Continue the work. Preventing forest fires is key. Your past and present experiences have made you ready to put out the fires that the future may likely bring. Take care to be the best human possible so that you may contribute to a positive future for replanting. I wish you all the best. Congratulations, BHS Class of 2020.
Thank you, Mrs. Argenta, and from all of us, once again, a big congratulations on being selected as this year's Teacher of the Year. Oh, sorry. Mr. Turgeon brought me a donut. Up next, your class advisors, Mrs. Midford and Mr. Turgeon.
Congratulations, Class of 2020. Mr. Turgeon and I wanted to take this time to thank you for all of your hard work during the past 4 years. We want to thank our class officers, Hazel Tognali, Elise Schwartz, Allie Bradley, and Sam Bailey for coming together to try and make senior year as best they can be. To our class reps of Noelle Flores, Haley Granado, Gracie Ross, Aiden Gamache, and Evelyn Buckner for being our voice during student council meetings. Of course, our banner team of Marta Hiroshimowitz, Graham Ledger, Melissa Leggett, Alyssa Medaya, Elise Schwartz, Haley Granado, and Hazel Tognali for having our banners be spectacular during our pep rallies. And finally, we wanted to thank the guidance department for being there to support our seniors throughout these past 4 years. Mr. Turgeon?
Thank you, Ms. Midford. So I'm guessing this night is not exactly how you planned it would be years ago, and I'm sure your parents and grandparents and the rest of your family would agree to that. But I want to highlight some groups of people that have been working for the last year to make sure this event could be as awesome as possible. And then all of those plans got a little bit messed up at the end, and they still rolled with the punches. Specifically talking about the Bolton Scholarship Fund, people who meet every month to make sure that when you graduate, you get some kind of scholarship award if you file for one. Also, the Project Graduation team that has spent more than a year coming up with these awesome ideas on how to revel you on the night of your graduation, and just to watch all of that get thrown by the wayside too. So, please be cognizant of all of their efforts. We especially want to thank, though, the superintendent, Principal Maselli, Dean Johnson, and all the Board of Ed, because this graduation night is as spectacular as we can make it for you, because we want to, and we had so much support in getting it done. Anything we wanted, that team I just mentioned was more than happy to oblige us, and go out of their way to make sure that you had a special night. Including in that, by the way, Miss Carvalho and Mrs. Goldsnyder, who always do a lot of things behind the scenes for graduation, but this year particularly have really gone out of their way to make sure that it's special. So please use this adversity as a time of opportunity to thank those and be thankful to those who have gone out of their way to help you make this as special a night as possible. So with that, congratulations, class of 2020.
Thank you, Mrs. Midford and Mr. Turgeon. Thanks for everything you have done for our seniors. And now it's time for me to say those official words that will make you graduates of Bolton High School.
Mr. Broneal, Board Chairperson, and members of the Bolton Board of Education, as well as all witnesses gathered from the community, I am proud to certify that every student here tonight has met all of the credit requirements and completed all of the academic requirements and performance requirements for graduation set forth by the Bolton Public Schools, and therefore should be awarded with all due honors and privileges the diploma of Bolton High School. Hallie Michelle Gavin. Robert John Flowers. Matthew Edward Zakowski. Hazel Tanyali. Elise Catherine Schwartz. Allison Elizabeth Bradley. Samantha Hope Bailey. Infinity May Staworski. Victoria Margaret White. Gabriel Michael Albert. Mila Jocelyn Alicia. Delana Lindsay Cubitt. Jonalee Jasmine Feliciano. Bethany Marie Walsh. Catherine May Conchado. Taylor Paige Connolly. Melissa Marie Leggett. Alexandra Brooke Picard. Benjamin Joseph Jacobson. Hezekiah Bell. Sean Michael Boisvert. Noel Trinity Flores. Isaac Joseph Gonçalves. Juliana Joyce Larson. Ian Hunter Peck. Graciela Caitlin Ross. Kellen Marcus Spector. Caitlin Leanne Tobias. Justin Michael Yannicka. Evelyn Joanne Buckner. Justin Angel DeJesus. Acacia Nicole Hammer. Elizabeth Amelia Hutter. Graham Alexander Ledger. Matthew Thomas Weir. Chase Ajani Cross. Cassandra Ann Dove. Marta Hiroshimovic. Emma Marie Knowles. Claire Rose Langton. Alyssa May Madaya. Alexander Eric Padilla. Cody Andrew Fox. Haley Georgia Granato. Shane Richard Heller. Aiden Blaine Walters. Andrew Reynold Doobie. Jaden Adrian Falcon. Xavier Michael Robinson. Eva Elizabeth Romke. Aiden M. Gamache. Lucas Jeffrey Carini. Dylan James Morin. Aiden Speedy O'Brien. Jordan Tyler Pereira. Benjamin Williams. Jacob Israel Corson. Devin Michael Fromer. Vincent Michael Loria. So congratulations, you are no longer Bolton High School students. You are alumni. And I was right. You were a special class. I can't imagine a better group of seniors to help us work through these tough times. In the Graduate Together TV special, LeBron James said we should all express our thanks to the class of 2020. I totally agree. We are so grateful for your sacrifices this year. In the midst of all this disappointment, you held your heads high. You had every reason to be sad and bitter, but you weren't. You made this easier on the rest of us. Thank you. So as this celebration draws to a close, let me leave you with just a few final thoughts. You have proven you're a special group. Remember that, and keep being yourselves. Be smart, lead with your heart, and keep caring for others. You are a class that will certainly be remembered by your teachers for a long time. You will be remembered for who you are and what you have given to us, not because of this crazy year. You will always be welcome at Bolton High School. Come back and visit us. Stay well, stay true to yourself, and stay in touch. And now here are some other folks that wanted to say a little something.
Congratulations to the class of 2020 for graduating and persevering under very difficult circumstances. Good luck, everybody.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. Good luck.
Congratulations, seniors. We wish you guys great success in the future.
Hola, clase de 2020. Enhorabuena de su profesor de español, señor Ruiz.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations, graduates. Open your hearts, feed the artist within, and know that you are essential.
Hey, class of 2020. I just want to say congratulations on your graduation.
Congratulations to the Bolton High School class of 2020. Go Bulldogs!
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations, BHS class of 2020. We're proud of you.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations, Bolton High School class of 2020. Woohoo!
Congratulations, Bolton class of 2020.
Congratulations, class of 2020. I'm so incredibly proud of you and can't wait to see what the future holds for you.
Class of 2020 has done an awesome job at Bolton High School, and I know that you are going to continue to do that in the future. Congratulations.
Congrats, class of 2020. You guys rock.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations, Bolton High School class of 2020. You made it.
Congratulations, Bolton High School class of 2020.
Congratulations, class of 2020. Wishing you all the best.
Congratulations to the class of 2020.
Congrats, seniors.
Best of luck to all of you, and hopefully we'll see you in the future.
Congratulations, seniors, class of 2020.
Congratulations, class of 2020, and remember the most important math equation.
Congrats, class of 2020. Miss you.
Congratulations, Bolton High School's class of 2020. Be the awesome you want to see in the world.
So if I had known that last Friday in March was the last time we'd be together, I would have tried to say something meaningful and special to you. I'm not sure what that would have been, but I know how it would have ended. So, one last time, from my heart, sincerely, to the class of 2020, I'll see you Monday.
See you Monday! See you Monday. See you Monday. See you Monday. See you Monday.
See you Monday!
selector.
Metaphysical man, but I know when the stars are aligned, you can bump into a person in the middle of the road, look into their eyes and you suddenly know. Rocking in the dance hall, moving with you, dancing in and out in the middle of June. My mama told me don't lose you, cause the best luck I had was you. I said, hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back from around the way. It seems like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know.
Why are you still here? It's not a Marvel movie.